discuss with you the influence violent video games have on kids below the age of 13. And I would like to know what you think about this topic. So I'll be asking you a couple of questions, starting you off with what do you think about video games?
Well, first, I think it's a very important topic that needs to be discussed at a parents level, family level, community level, even at a government level, especially when we're talking about kids and what influences kids. So I think it's a very important topic, definitely.
So do you think violent video games influence kids to do violent behaviors?
It is. That's a very interesting question, and I believe somehow, somewhat it does. Depends on the how many hours is the kid is watching, playing the video game, what kind of violence is it, let the degrees of violence vary, and but eventually, if it is anything that is excessive, it will have an influence, and it definitely kids that sits in front of video games for hours, days, nights, it would influence in a very negative way.
That's what I said, sir. So do you think parents should allow their kids to play violent video games?
Again, it's I would say it depends. If it's just our curiosity, it's a one-time thing. Again, it's the level of the degree of violence. Definitely should be monitored, and no parent should allow their kids just to sit in front of the video games for hours. And they definitely need to be aware of the level of violence in that video game, so they can make the decision as whether to have their kids play it or not.
Okay. Thank you very much. Hi.
Hi.
So I've decided to discuss with you the influence violent video games have on kids below the age of 13. And I would like to know what you think about this topic.
All right.
So what do you think about video games?
Violent video games?
Yeah.
In general? I don't approve of them really. If I had sons, which I don't, I have daughters, I would be very opposed to them playing them and watching them. I think it gives them some negative ideas and it desensitizes them to things that are really going on in the world.
So do you think parents are shown less of a responsibility towards this topic?
Less of a responsibility. It's hard to say because I think each parent deals with it in their own way. I think some parents don't see that it's a bad thing, while others do. But I do think because they are the ones that control what the children can watch or what they can do, that they should have, a powerful influence over it.
So do you think kids should be allowed to play these games?
Young kids?
Less than 13.
Less than 13?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it depends on the amount of violence and how gratuitous it is. I've heard of these horrible games where they actually have they simulate somebody coming in and shooting up a school. That's horrible.
Yeah.
Awful. If it's something like that, or blood spurting everywhere, and I do think that they should definitely limit those, because I do think that it tends to lead to things that we're not even aware of, but that are definitely affecting society.
All right. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Hi, Ms. Miranda. I'm here to interview with you the influence violent video games have on kids below the age of 13. And I honestly want to know what you think about this topic. So I'll be asking you a couple of questions, starting you off with, what do you think about video games? Violent ones.
Okay, So violence in general is not something that I like to see, whether it be in a video game, whether it be in real life, on television. It's not something that I support, but it's also, you know, something that I guess if it's in a video game and I don't like it, but I do like allow my son, he plays with it, but not too gory. As long as it's not too gory, I feel that it's okay.
So do you think kids are getting influenced by violent video games?
I think that one of the things that we need to focus on, and you know, rather than blaming it on video games or looking for a scapegoat, is that raising our kids with solid values, spending enough time with them, monitoring them, everything in moderation, putting values in our kids, and just, you know, touching base with them. I think if you have those things in place, you can't go and blame a video game, or you can't say, you know, your kid knows better.
So do you think parents are showing less of responsibility towards these games?
Yeah, I believe that what's happened is that we have electronic babysitters. And so I think that oftentimes parents are, you know, I want to say careless in the sense that they have an electronic babysitter, and, you know, as long as their child is quiet and entertained, you know, they're not really monitoring too much and kind of, you know, letting them kind of have free reign, so to speak.
Okay. So do you think there's any way to stop violent video games or violent behavior that kids are having?
Well, I don't think that we can blame video games for violent behavior, because violence has been here forever. It's been here before the video games, right?
Yeah.
So what now? All of a sudden we have violent video games, and we're going to start blaming. Do you get what I mean? Blaming video games. So like, what now? That's the excuse. What, there hasn't been, all violence just started when video games came? No, violence has been here from the start of time. So we can't blame video games. I think that we need to, if anything, blame our, I guess, like our energy and our, you know, what's our foundation that we're putting into our kids. That's what we need to blame ourselves. Spend more time with your kids, monitor what they're doing, instill values in them, and follow and model those values. That is the main point. Not blaming video games for violence, because violence has been here before video games.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.